There is this error message that you guys have been getting where when you're working with Gns3, where if you lose your network connection, I had no idea that this latest version of Gns3 had that issue. So thanks to Samsung for pointing that out, where if you lose network connection, you are essentially unable to use your Gns3. So a possible solution that you can do, I don't know whether it will work on your side. And as a side note, we know that when you're working with freeware, if it crashes, you have no one to consult. Yeah, it's a freeware, so you have to play around with it to I think we appreciate what we mean by as in, I believe we have Linux people in the house, so you guys get what I'm trying to get at. So a possible solution that you can do is come to edit preferences, and first of all, you can delete the iOSs that you had loaded. So like in my case, you come here, delete and all that. So I don't want to delete on my case because actually this Gns3 that I'm using here is not the latest version like in your case. I think mine is if I come to about, you can see mine is 1.44. So yours of course is the latest, and we know that as in for softwares, sometimes the latest is not the greatest, yeah, because maybe it's not tested to know whether it's a stable version. Yeah, it's like the way we had Windows Vista, you know that it had issues. So the people who rushed to upgrade from Windows XP, which I think we all agree Windows XP was one of the best Microsoft softwares. So anyway, I'm preaching to the choir here. You get what I'm trying to get at. So what we can do is after deleting the iOSs, you can close your Gns3 and relaunch it. That's what I've done here. Yeah, so you relaunch it, it comes with this initial dialog, whatever that I said, the setup wizard, yeah, that I said we cancel. So you can actually come to run only legacy iOSs on the, so you hit next. So here is where you can choose another nick. Yeah, in this case, actually before you come to this, you can come to something that I should have shown you, as in to add what your let me demonstrate. You see what I'm trying to get at. Where is network properties? If I can find it. Network and sharing center. That's what I was trying to find. So if you look at my PC, it has these Microsoft loopback adapters, and I disabled them. Why? So I was saying that you know, when you lose your network connection, because in that case maybe you are referencing either your physical network connection where you have the cable connected, or this 127 something. So in my case, so let me see, when I enabled that, it's still not showing. So anyway, let me close this Gns3 again, cancel. Still trying to connect to that server. So what I want to show you is how to add a loopback adapter on your PC. Yeah, we know how to do it on the routers, right? Where you go to global config mode, you say interface loopback. So pretty much every operating system you can create a loopback whatever. So in Microsoft, you can do hardware wizard.exe, hardware wizard.exe. I don't know how you go about it through the control panel to get this wizard. So anyway, either way, whichever way you get to it. So hit next, install from that manually. You can come to network adapters. Where is network? Not the ports. There's network adapters. Okay. Microsoft, so that then you can choose Microsoft loopback adapter here. You hit next and all that. I don't want to hit next because it might actually install and I'll have many more loopback adapters here. There is no harm, but sometimes it might give you a bit of issues when you're trying to connect your PC to the internet, yeah. Because if, let's say, you have come to this network whatever, and so let's say you are using this for the lab environment, yeah, this loopback, you know, this loopback interfaces or NICs are just for lab whatever, just like the way we were doing it on the router. It's just to create some anyway, I think you get what I'm trying to get at. So I'm saying that having so many NICs, even if some of them are virtual, you see, if I come here and put a default gateway, now my machine, when I'm browsing internet, because of the conflicting IP addresses, it might send some traffic to this default gateway. So anyway, that's I'm saying for your own good, yeah, so that you don't have those issues on your machine. That is when you're trying to access internet. So anyway, when you create that loopback interface, you can assign it I exited before. You can assign it an IP address that normally you don't use, yeah, as in rarely will you go to, like there in Bara, I don't think there is a LAN that uses 10.10.10 like that. You can even give it a 252, yeah. So now when I come to Gns3 and launch it, so we get this is where I was trying to this is where we had reached, yeah, we had reached before before that. So you can see my 10.10.10 here. We can use that that is we can do the host binding to that interface. Hit next. So you can see now, instead of connecting to, so of course you want to see connection to local server successful. I think with that we don't want to change the ports. Finish. So from here we can just continue with the wizard, where you can add an iOS, say okay. So this is where you can come to create new browse, where you have your iOSs, yeah. In my case, I think it is seeing an existing one, so we want to choose .image because .bin, you know, is a zipped file, yeah. So when you're working, I think I explained this in the previous video about installing Gns3. So we want .image, of course, the platform here, and the naming convention of these images. That's why you should not change the name, because in later lessons we'll see how we can copy these iOSs back and forth from your devices. So when you're copying it, it asks you, do you want to name it whatnot? So you should retain the name, because this name actually gives you a lot of info, like C2691. This first part is the platform, This advanced enterprise K9 I think is a security code, yeah, meaning with this code you can be able to do VPNs, SSH stuff, cryptography stuff with that. It's 12.4, as in there is a lot of info in the naming convention of this thing. So the platform is that. I think from here we are now we know how to go about it. Yeah, like I can choose the weeks so that I have my serial ports. IDOPC, I said this is one, it's of huge importance, otherwise your CPU utilization will be pegged at 100. So we can do that. In my case it's taking time, and I like this latest version of Gns3 in that it gives you a summary. It can show you the CPU utilization. Is it the real one? Yeah, I'm also discovering some stuff as we go. Yeah, it's CPU utilization is, and we can see some error codes, error whatever, error timeout node, timeout after 30 seconds. I hope this will not give us issues. How come here maybe it's not showing the real one? Yeah, but anyway, I think they are pegged up high because, and we are getting some error messages. I think it's still high because you're trying to calculate the or maybe it's my AVG. Could be because of my AVG, whatever, because AVG is turned on. How can I turn it off? All programs, AVG. I should just open it. How do you turn it off? Let me just turn off these things. Yes. Not protected. I think those ones are not whatever. It's taking time to calculate my idle PC. So let me just maybe cancel it. So mine is having issues because of I think it's some settings to do with access permissions, where I had said when you're installing a Gns3 you need to be wary of your antivirus and firewall settings. I think this is what we are experiencing here. So this is a possible solution that I found in my case when I was working with it. If I disconnect the LAN cable, it's not giving me that error messages. So anyway, you guys can try it out and see whether it will solve that solution. Okay, so let me know how it goes.